The title is Characterizing CCCs. And I don't expect you to know what CCC is because I made it up. And CCC, requires serious study and buyer beware. What is a CCC? It's a cheap Chinese copy. Small and medium companies in China strive for lowest price. Price is a very important parameter that they operate their business at. Cultural and legal practices encourage this, and non-recognition of U.S. patents encourages as well. China is a world leader in producing counterfeit products. Gold coin example, and the number of Americans who are defrauded by this is truly astounding. And when I was doing a writing project on measuring the density of coins, it turns out that if you take titanium and you check its density compared to gold, it's almost identical. So you take and stamp out your coin and heavily gold plate it, you have got an American Golden Eagle gold coin. And you can sell it for half the normal price, and Americans will send their money eager to resell it at the current gold price.
Don't you mean tungsten? Don't you mean tungsten?
Tungsten, yes. Sorry, tungsten. This is on the USB drive, and there's a lot of information that I won't go through here related to this. CCCs are easily accepted by U.S. buying public. In other words, Americans like bargains, and so they are easily sold. What does that mean? The key word is last, copy. To copy means greatly reduce costs. To copy means copying everything. The product itself, specifications, descriptions, images, drawings, artworks, websites, etc. Copy, copy, copy. No model numbers usually. Why wouldn't you think you have a model number if you're selling a product? Anybody have any suggestions? Why don't, I don't say all, but I said small and medium companies, they don't use model numbers. Why? Nobody has the answer? Well, if it's a model number, you specifically identify it. And that they don't want to do that. You got a ball of string, we put it in a clear plastic wrapper, and here's some string. There's, you don't want to define it, because to define it means you're going to stand behind what you say, and that costs money. Copying reduces cost. Developing and designing products is expensive. Copying successful products is easiest. Manufacturing and promoting are main costs. A website is also a low-cost part of promoting. Manufacturers are also driven to reduce costs. Labor costs are low and fundamental to CCCs. Whoops. Of course, you have to deal with market conditions, and Amazon to the rescue. Amazon will sell your CCC. They will demonstrate my observations, which I'm going to make in the coming slides. Amazon will facilitate the transition, and Amazon provides a buffer for the CCC maker. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple of examples. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the AD584 voltage regulator. How many people do not know what a voltage regulator is?
Reference?
Wow, wow. I'm impressed.
Voltage reference?
Yes, it's a voltage reference.
You said regulator.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
yeah. Now, voltage reference is a very carefully designed integrated circuit that when you apply battery voltage to it, the voltage output is very precise. There are two very important qualities. One, the voltage is very precise to specifications, and number two, it's very stable. So that if it's 10.000 volts today, it'll be 10.000 volts tomorrow, and that's very important for any kind of electrical measurements, calibrate your voltmeters, etc. Now, this particular one provides 4 voltage outputs. And in terms of defining the major components of each of the parts, we have the integrated circuit, we have a battery, we have a circuit board, and we have a package. Now, if I'm a manufacturer of a CCC, I'm going to try to give you only what you need to make it what you're selling. Now, here it's 4 voltages plus or minus 0.05%. Pretty good, huh? 0.05%, pretty good. Of 2.55, 7.5, 10 volts. Now, the IC is a US product and fully documented, very famous. So all your design and all that, it all goes away. It's a wonderful thing. The battery could be user supplied. So we can remove a lot of cost by providing the battery. You provide your own battery. The circuit board is the primary part that is made. And I think that Mark demonstrated that when he passed around his prime, and he had this little breadboard, there were 3 individual circuit boards. You got a lot of functionality at very low cost. The battery can be user supplied. The package is optional or user supplied, which includes another very expensive part of most of the electrical products, the controls and the connectors. Now here is some example of this product. Now this is the one I bought some years ago, and you'll notice here that they actually say that this is an AD584-M, and that would be the part number of the analog devices manufacturer for this product. But if you get the data sheet, which you can easily get on the internet, you'll find out that there's no -M. There's a K and an L and I think there's a J, and these suffix letters here are defining the accuracy of it. I'm only guessing because I can't demonstrate it, but I'm only guessing that the M is a custom variation of it, and they have their own specs. But they accomplish their objective by saying, oh, here, we're going to actually individually measure your standard, and they give you the values. It's in this case, 2.5003 volts. Now, you got labor involved for providing those measurements, but overall, that particular manufacturer of this device is selling his product to compete in the marketplace for the lowest price.
Richard,
yeah.
That -M on the end of that is marked on the casing, not on the chip. I think they might just be saying it's an 80.
Oh no! Well, these you can't see. Here's the IC right here.
Yeah. Does that say -M on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And the ones that are L versions will have L on them and so forth. Yeah, yeah. And this brings out a point. While the manufacturer is trying to make the lowest possible price, squeezing down to a fraction of a penny, they're not trying to commit fraud to you. Not at all. Here it is, you know. Now this version is an alternate version. Now first let me point out, this is wonderful. This is, to me, it's an incredible thing. When I bought it, it was $15. And it's got this wonderful clear plastic case. It's got a red, oh no, in this case it's green. There's an LED for each of the 4 voltages. Here's a switch, you press it and hold it down and it turns on. And it turns on with the lowest voltage. Press it again, moves higher, 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 hold it down, it goes off, or rotates around. So it's got all the features. This is a full-featured design. A nice, sturdy, reasonable, good quality banana jack sitting there for you to make your own connections to it. This is great. Now here's from somebody else, and in order for him to compete, he's going to take let's see, what's this one? Now this one that has the, you can see it better here in the image. There's the 4 output indicators. Where is, oh, here there's a switch. So this guy is offering the same product. He's got a switch. I don't know what that switch is for. I don't know if that switch is replacing this one, but you see you have this, the top piece over another switch. Maybe that switch isn't there, and he's only using the plastic from some guy who will sell it to anybody who may be selling it to the guy over here who actually made it, have designed it. I don't know. Now here's another alternate version, not a full clear case. The sides and bottom are not the acrylic plastic. Saving money. Acrylic plastic costs money. Over here is another alternate version. There's no output indicators. This is 4 examples of the same product that are made different to try to compete as a CCC. We're not done. Maybe I am. Here's the same thing, but the circuit board only. Here's the IC. This is a battery holder. I guess this is an on-off switch. And here is your, and I don't, now this one is in reverse order. Here's one that's made with a particular type of connector that may be used in some industry or what have you. Here's another version. This version says, oh, I'm going to throw in some graded resistors, and I'm going to give you not only the 4 voltages, but I'm going to give you 4 values. Oh no, I'm sorry, not this one. They write the values on the board here. Over here, this one is the one that provides 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 ohms for resistance standard. Electronics devices as circuit boards. Offering a circuit board only is lowest cost. That means that you, the customer, have to add a case, the package, any controls, indicators, other stuff, power source. No packaging / case chassis is required. This eliminates the costly connectors and controls. No power supply is needed. Customers have many options under their control, very high performance devices available, instruments and consumer products at lowest cost. Here's an example. I bought this June 19th, 2017. This is an 8-digit frequency counter. It covers a range of 100 kilohertz to 2.4 gigahertz. That's an incredibly wide range. And here's one view. You have to provide, I don't remember which end is which, but one of these pairs is the output and the other pair is a 12 volts DC input. And here is the counter. Here's all the electronics. High performance counter specs, low cost, but requires connector, power supply, case, or mounting. The frequency standard is 13 megahertz plus or minus 2 parts per million. That's 0.00025% accuracy. Frequency range is extraordinary. You can measure your microwave oven frequency directly. Now, in this particular one, this is a little bit of an exception. This particular supplier has an unbelievable owner's manual. I mean, it is loaded with all kinds of specifications because their market are companies that are making instruments, and so you need to know what this, the heart of your instrument is. So it's intended for original equipment manufacturers, do-it-yourselfers, etc. And it's available at MPJA, who is, by the way, here in Florida, at a popular internet supplier. And there's the price. Example number 2. This is my favorite, actually. How many in here, I'm going to go with the negative, does not know what a fan stock clip is? Of course, Joseph. Okay, half, about half. All right, great. A fan stock clips are simple wire connectors. These were used when I was a kid and tinkering electronics. That's how I built my circuits, using fan stock clips, wood screws, and a piece of board. Fan stock clips are made of spring brass. It's a CCC example of using cheaper steel. Shape and size of copy is different. The function is not the same. Description is copied. And my recommendation, never buy a Chinese CCC fan stock clip. And a magnet tells you the difference. Now this is as an example of how you might use fan stock clips. This is a full wave 3 amp bridge rectifier with a heavy duty filter capacitor, AC in here, and DC out over there. Now I have a writing project that on fan stock clips, and then I made an appendix to another writing project of making an electrical connection. And I give all the details here. I compare, now the original fan stock clip had a part number 533. It was made in the United States, developed in the United States, what have you. And the big difference you see, just by the weight, this is lightweight and this is the weight required in terms of the metal. The thickness, the 533 is 20 mils, and the cheap copy is 12. Go all the way down through here. Here's an example of performance. What you do is you press down the spring, insert the wire, and release it. So here is the original. Here's the CCC. This is the smallest wire I had at the moment, and you can see it works. You slide it in, it clips, holds. But the CCC, the design of that force and all that, look what it does to the wire here. That's not the best. Okay, example number 3. Oh, this is This is good. I think it's important for all of you to know what this is. A USB charged device, all your cell phones, you all have them in this room, needs a USB meter. The CCC versions are great. Now, I won't go into all the details, but this is really, really a spectacular product. It gives you a lot of confidence, and it's powerful in its use, and it lasts a long time. The variations are even more than the AD584, which I'm making the point here that if you're going to be a customer, you got to be real careful. I mean, it requires careful observation and study time. I've identified 3 generations. You may easily simultaneously measure the voltage, the current, the power, and the energy you put into your battery simultaneously. Just plug, and you got the numbers. Plus, you can use it as ways of measuring the resistance of your charging cable. Remember, the criteria driving CCC is to lower the cost. How do you lower the cost of a copper wire? You make it smaller. When you do that, you raise the resistance. When you raise the resistance, the current goes down. When the current goes down, it takes you 5 hours to charge instead of 3.
The other way they do it is by selling you copper-clad aluminum that you can't.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, that would.
They do it.
Yeah. Oh, you remind me of something. Most of you have seen a video cable. If you have cable in your house and they run this video cable around, the center conductor of a video cable looks like it's copper. It's not. It's copper-coated steel. Okay. Here it is up close. This is about the width of a normal USB connector. You know, so you plug this in to your charger, and at the other end you plug in your phone.
Where's the other half? Sorry.
Oh, this is 1-2. Whenever I buy stuff, I rarely buy just one. One I buy to break. I take it apart. I'm playing with it. So this is number 1 or 2 meters, so I know which one I use when I put it in the circuit and take photographs. It gives you the voltage. Now look at this. 4.769 volts, 3 decimal digits. The watts. Now this one over here indicates a register number which will store that data. And there's a button on the back, and you can toggle through those. This is 0 amps and 0 milliampere hours. Now here's how I identify the generations, because I've been using these for many years. The first one used a red LED, and what it did is it cycled between voltage and current. And I don't know why a lot of people will use a U for voltage, and so it's about 3 seconds. Voltage, amps, volts, amps. Now the second generation added a dual display, so you saw them both. And of course, the fourth generation is the ultimate. In conclusion, CCCs are great, but you should understand why they are so cheap, the cultural issues of language and law, the competitive issues of copying, why model numbers are not used, why circuit products are so common, and I was happy that Mark demonstrated that for us, why there are so many variations, and why you must study the descriptions, because if somebody says, "Hey, I bought this, I love it," and so forth, and he shows it to you, and you get on the internet, and you think you're going to order the same thing, but the odds are against you because there's so many of them. And why buyer beware is important. Is that all we got? Oh, no. One more example. I won't go into the story, but It has fraud, it has identity theft, it has all of the drama of a crime. And Bob and I talked about this during the whole duration. But this is a CCC, but is at a higher level. This is a stereo amplifier. It has nice tone controls, a nice volume control, and an on-off switch. And here's the back. Here is the RCA jacks for 2 channels of input. And they rate this thing. I think it's one. There's 2 reasons why I tacked this on the end. Anytime you talk about, where's Brian? Cover your ears, Brian. Whenever you talk about audio, so we're going to talk about audio power. And there's different ways of measuring and defining audio power. Now, for most engineers, audio power is watts voltage times current. Very simple. But with an audio signal, the voltage is never constant, the current is never constant, it's always changing, so you have a little bit of a sticky wicket in terms of the voltage times current. But this, I've seen ads for this amplifier. Now notice, this one has a model number. That tells you that, number one, they're probably selling these things in large quantities, and it's very widely known. This manufacturer is proud of his product, and he shows his pride by having an actual model number. It's stereo, and 2 outputs for the each channel, the power adapter, and something that when I got this amplifier and I started playing with it, there was another thing that is confusing, and that's why I say you must study the specs. And that is, now they actually indicate it here, it says DC volts, great, 2 amps to 5 amps. What do you mean 2 amps to 5 amps? Well, when I got mine, I only had in my adapter box a 12 volt, right polarity, the right 5.5 by 2.1 barrel power connector, and it was only 1.5 amps, and I plugged it in and it works fine. And then there's some more specs that say, well, up to 6 amps. So I ordered a 6 amp big clunker DC power source. And the other issue here is, you can't quite see it, but there's a little indentation in the black knob. There's one here, there is one, there's one here somewhere, and then there's one over here, okay? That would indicate the position of the rotation. Now they put very nice scales around here, right? So let me go back. Now this is the one I used, and I took some white out and I put the white out on the dots, so now I know where it is, okay? And again, that's a technique used by CCCs to keep the price down. Let the user do that. If he cares, most of them won't care. That's it. Thank you.